Entitled parent rejects present because it's not expensive enough. So the entitled parent of this story is my maternal aunt's husband, though my aunt and their kid are entitled as well. For a little bit of unnecessary background, or necessary, of the entitled family, the entitled parent is a really unpleasant and entitled man that believes himself above everyone else, and has transmitted that belief to his son, entitled kid, who's a bratty 4-year-old that has been raised thinking that he has the right to take anything that he wants from others. He's a nice enough kid until you tell no to him, then all hell breaks loose. My aunt lets him do whatever he wants, and is generally an obnoxious person. I have a ton of little stories revolving around this entitled family, but this one revolves around my mum, making a toy train for entitled kid. She had gone to their house and saw that entitled kid liked to play on a box like some sort of cat. So she went and made a huge train toy for him, big enough that he could crawl inside. She did it out of big boxes, painted them, made windows, draw and painted some minions, as entitled kid loved them. The result was an impressive toy that she put a lot of effort into. The entitled kid actually loved it. He came to our house and played and had a blast. The problem happened when my mum asked my aunt to take it home with her, as she was supposed that she would. And she refused. Said it was too big to fit in the trunk, her husband would pick it up later in his bigger car, all sorts of excuses. My mum believed her lie and waited for them to come and take it. Weeks passed by, and the only thing changing were the excuses. Entitled parent has no gas. My aunt thought it was better if the train stayed at our place, so entitled kid could play with it when he visited us. It got ridiculous. And then the other of my aunts told me entitled parent refused to take that ugly thing to his home because his kid played with expensive brand toys and not cardboard garbage. It broke my mum's heart. She put a lot of care and work into making that train, and she was proud of it, and those words devastated her. I was beyond livid and have refused to talk to them beyond casual greetings ever since. The story has a really happy ending of sorts. My mum gave the train to a woman of a low-income family that loved it and had a son that would be very happy to have it. So at least all of my mum's good work didn't went to literal garbage. Our next story was posted by user Cookie-Animates, titled, Entitled Mum Tries to Make Me Fall Off My Snowboard because her little angel rammed into me and got hurt. I like winter sports, snowboarding to be exact, and at this time I was riding my snowboard on the slopes. But first the cast. Introducing Entitled Mum, Poor Kid. Okay, so I was riding my snowboard on a slope, when suddenly a kid rams into me and makes me fall over. So I go like, ow! And the entitled mum goes like, stop whining and help my angel get up. So I got up so fast and helped the kid. He wasn't hurt though. And the Karen's like, you stupid frick! How dare you ram into my angel and hurt him? And me, trying to stay calm, goes like, I couldn't have rammed your son if he was behind me. And the mum's like, well, maybe if you were faster, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. She told me to be faster when the slope was covered in hard ice. If I would have gone faster, I could have fell and hurt myself worse than now. At this point, I was barely holding my anger back, and I was like, ma'am, I could not have gone faster, alright? Because I could have risked falling and breaking bone. And the entitled mother's like, listen, I don't care about you at all. You gets cut off by her son, and he's like, Mom, I'm fine, let's just go. And the mum's like, no way, this idiot needs to be taught some manners. Pretty much bored of what was going on, I just got up and started riding again, because, ride or die, skater's life. As far away as possible, wondering how such a nice kid got paired up with a demon. But sadly, that isn't the end. A few minutes later, I saw a chunk of ice going for me. Then one more came. They were small, so I thought it was just the wind. like Skyrim, where they get shot by an arrow. Must have been the wind. Since it was really strong, but then I saw a silhouette in the distance, and guess who it was? You guessed it, entitled mother. I realized that she was the one throwing the ice chunks. I quickly got that she was the one trying to frickin' hit me to make me fall off. Most of them missed, but one of them got under my board and I tripped on it. I fell off, but happily, I didn't get hurt. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then she's all like, well, since you made my kid fall because you're a slow and fat piece of crap, I decided it would be fair if you fell too. And then I say, when your son rammed into me, I fell too. And she's like, yeah, but you hurt him. I decided you needed another hit. I was already too annoyed at this point, so I ended the conversation by riding far away from her, hoping I never meet her again. And I'm just really hyped up. I've had a coffee and my body is just ready to go right now. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm sorry, I'm just hyper. And our next story was posted by user Dethrony, titled, My Aunt Got Screwed Over After Making Our Vacation a Competition. Sorry if this post doesn't follow the normal conventions of an entitled parents post. Bam! I really only watch videos about this subreddit. Good stuff, subscribe to me, so I don't really know the basics of how posts are set up. So a while ago, my mum, aunt, cousin, and I all went on a vacation to Disney World. We live pretty dang north of Florida, so of course we took a plane. My mum and I both already knew that my aunt was kind of an ass, so we knew the next weekish was going to be at least a little headache-inducing. We got off the plane, and as soon as we got to our hotel, my aunt started complaining. There wasn't enough room, the beds didn't feel good, we were too far of a walk from the entrance. Anything and everything was an annoyance to her. We wanted to get out of the room, so we got into a convertible we rented, and my aunt was jumping to drive it. So we let her. At the theme park, we liked to just chill out in the shops. And because we were already in shops, we would do some shopping. It started pretty tame. My mum and I broke off from my aunt and my cousin to just get away from them for a while. But we noticed something very specific every time we found something we liked. If we said anything along the lines of, "Ooh, this looks cute," my aunt and cousin would be there in seconds and buy it for themselves. No hesitation, no second thoughts. We'd say it and they would buy it, and they had to have it first. We were kind of like, about it at first, but it got pretty amusing over time. So we tried doing it with things we didn't even like. Stupid gimmicky t-shirts, they'd buy 'em. Crappy plastic toys, they'd buy 'em. Normal ass jeans, they would buy them. It started getting a little difficult though. Some items we liked were just about to be sold out, so we had to be quiet about it if we liked them or not, so they wouldn't swoop in and take them before we could. The same thing happened with the rides too. All they did was cut us off to be on the rides first. There was a point where I was feeling super nauseous. All I wanted to do was go back to the hotel to cool off for a bit, but my cousin wanted to ride more roller coasters. My mum was gone doing something else, so my aunt told my cousin that I would go on rides with her. I told her that I was feeling too sick to ride anything else, but my cousin started fake crying. My aunt started getting mad at me for not going on rides with her daughter, and I was getting angry that they wouldn't let me go back to the hotel. We argued about it for a bit, but I ended up getting on the ride with my cousin. So then we got off the ride, and my cousin said that she didn't even enjoy the ride, and I ended up throwing up. My aunt got mad at me for throwing up. I told her that I didn't even want to ride it in the first place, and we ended up saying barely 2 words to each other for the rest of the day. A day or two after, we went to a store selling Lilo and Stitch merch. My mum and I saw a massive stuffed animal of Stitch. It was the last one they had. We said something like, "Oh, whoa, look at that Stitch. That's cool." Guess who bought it? My aunt. We weren't upset they got it though. We weren't going to buy a massive stuffed animal. Like, I don't even know where we could put it in our house. So the day continued like normal. They lugged that massive thing around all day, scuffed it up from dragging it on the ground, and almost lost it once. We went back to the hotel room, and my aunt drove again. As every day passed, the same thing would happen. There's no point in going into the nitty-gritty about it. I think you guys get it. It was the last day of the vacation. My mum and I didn't get to drive the convertible once because my aunt was always bouncing off the walls to get in it first. We packed up our stuff and went to the airport to leave Florida, but before we could actually go home, my aunt realized that some of the clothes and the massive Stitch stuffed animal she bought were too big to fit in her suitcase and too big to be carry-on, so they had to leave them in Florida. My cousin was pretty upset that they didn't bring it with her. She cried and cried and cried, but I felt nothing but the meanest happiness. They spent all that time trying to be first. It was always me, me, me. But it backfired because they could not even bring all that crap that they brought with them. And that's all I heard about it for nearly the entire plane ride home. Kids, be responsible with your money. And our next story was posted by user xgirly789, titled, "No, we are not a daycare, we are a comic shop." So I work part-time at a hobby shop. We have a lot of kids who come hang out and play Magic. We usually keep an eye on them, but have been very clear with parents that this is not a daycare. We have Magic Camp and Dungeons and Dragons Camp, and we watch the kiddos during that time. But anything else is a parent's responsibility to be around in case they need to pick up their kid. We have this one kid, nice kid, who comes in every week and his parents drop him off for 4 to 5 hours. He has nothing to do because it's slow and his parents go far distances. My manager and I have told them several times that they are welcome to do whatever they want with their time, but we advise them do not go that far because there could be an emergency, and they always brush us off. So today nice kid comes in and tells us his parents are going several hours away and will be back around midnight, and we'll pick up nice kid then. We close at 9. I call entitled dad and entitled mother, and ED says, "Hello, this is entitled dad." And I go, "Hello, this is OP at shop name. Nice kid told us you aren't going to be here till midnight. Am I hearing this correctly?" "That's right, we're going to a wedding 2 hours away. It'll be over at 9:30 and we'll head back." "I'm sorry, but we cannot accommodate that. We are only open until 9, and I have another job to go to directly after this." "Well, that's too fudging bad because you're going to stay there until we get back, and you're going to pay to feed my kid dinner." Again, entitled dad, that is not possible. If you are not here at 9, I will be forced to call the police to wait with nice kid until you grab him. We are not a daycare. Again, you will stay there until we get there, and you will feed my kid. Don't call again. Click. So I talked to my manager. We do end up feeding nice kid and call the local police. They offer to call entitled dad. I don't know what happened in that conversation, but a friend of the family came to pick up nice kid. Entitled dad called us screaming at us because we are upright pricks and need to just shut the frick up and watch their kid. We're going to call nice kid's mum tomorrow and set clear guidelines for when nice kid comes back. Edit to add, I have already called Child Protective Services on them several times and nothing seems to have come about it. I've also called the police on several occasions as well. I think my boss and I are going to ban the kid from the stores unless he has an adult with him. Edit 2. Nice kid and their parents have been suspended from the store. If nice kid is to return, they must have an adult with them at all times. Either one or two of the parents or a babysitter, and they have to come with an actual meal. My boss really wants to be able to have eyes on nice kid so we can see if the abuse is stopped. But we are protecting ourselves first. I will update in the next few weeks to keep you guys updated, but that's what I have for now. And our next story was posted by user CZ Ansel, titled, "Kid thinks my airsoft gun is cool, which means I'm making him a terrorist." Okay, so I'm on mobile. English is not my first language, blah blah blah. Our cast are EM, Enormous Mammoth, Kid is K, entitled Mother's Son, Cool Kid. So a little background. I moved to a new place a few weeks ago with my family. I have a smaller collection of airsoft guns that I like to shoot in my backyard. One of those guns is an AK-47. The house next to ours gives home to a wild entitled mother and her offspring. So a few days ago, I had a pretty bad day. and I went out to shoot some targets, which are cardboard boxes, to let out some steam. In Entitled Mother's yard, Kid was playing around in a trampoline. He saw me shooting and came to the fence. This conversation followed. Kid goes, "Wow, that's a gun?" Sort of. Insert me explaining what an airsoft gun is. "That's cool. My mum would never let me have one of those." "Look, mate, if she's alright with it, you can come over and shoot it." "Really? Cool, I'll ask her when she gets home." "Alright." So I went back to shooting, with Kay watching me. When I was done, I went back in and cleaned the gun and put it away. Half an hour later, someone knocked on the door. I opened, and it was a middle-aged woman. Pretty short and skinny, with the OG Karen haircut. Conversation ensued. "How dare you teach my son terrorism, you Muslim freak?" This part is hard to translate. My language has a huge selection of swear words, so sorry if it doesn't make any sense. "Excuse me, but who are you?" "I'm the mother of the child you want to ruin." "I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you the mother of the kid?" "Yes." "Alright, please calm down. I was shooting my airsoft gun in my backyard, and he thought that it was cool, so I offered him a chance to shoot it. If you're cool with it. If you're not, that's okay, but I didn't ruin him." "You did. Why do you have a gun anyway? That's illegal." "It's not a gun." Insert me explaining what an airsoft gun is once again. "Why are you shooting a gun here? You could have shot Kid." Me, getting annoyed. "It's just an airsoft gun." "Don't you dare raise your voice at me. You are just a stupid teen and I'm an adult. You have to do what I say. Throw that thing out now." "You are not my mother, and you have no right to tell me what to do. I just wanted to be nice to Kid, but okay, I won't let him shoot it. But you can't tell me what I can and what I cannot do in my own backyard. Bye." And I slammed the door shut. She was knocking for some time after that, but evidently she left. That is my story, and now that I'm finished typing this, the realization hit me that I have to live next to that woman for years. Also, whoever comments how many times I wrote airsoft gun gets bragging rights. I'm from Hungary, I speak English and Hungarian. Where I'm from, owning an airsoft gun and shooting it in my backyard is absolutely legal, and I'm 17 years old. Our next story was posted by user Gaming Duck Boy, titled, "Entitled Mother Goes on Holiday Without Kids." Hi, long-time lurker, short story, I have more if you want, on mobile, etc, etc. Background: my ex, thank God, stepmom was such an entitled piece of work. Her kids were not much better. This happened 2-ish years ago. I had been on the waiting list for major spinal surgery for about a year. On to the story. While I was on the list, my stepmom booked a family holiday without my dad knowing. I then got an expected date for my surgery that was 2 days into this holiday. She chose then to tell my dad that she'd booked our holiday and my major surgery would get in the way. When asked to rebook it, she used the excuse, "It's only an expected date, it might change." It did not. 1 week before my surgery, she told my dad she forgot to rebook it, and it would be too late now. Keep in mind that I was about to have surgery and had been told I could die, so my whole family was on edge. My sister went berserk. She hated it because of something else she did, but that's another story. But my dad said that he'd handled it. By now, I was in the hospital, but my dad filled me in. He told her to cancel it, and he'd give her the money she spent. She said, "No, we're going anyway." And my dad said he wasn't going, so she slapped him and went with her kids. After the operation, she never visited me once. When asked why, she said she didn't want to bring her kids to the hospital. When I was out, she tried to make it about her because she cut her hand on holiday. Boo-hoo. I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, I have more stories about her, so let me know. Thanks! And our next story was posted by user Toby7769, titled, "You Can't Stop Me, I'm a bad..." Just kidding. A bit of background. I'm a swim mum and a swim coach. Not important to this story. My son swims for this rec swim. and during the off-season, he keeps in swim shape by doing clinics at the same pool. Today, I was driving by this pool and saw people using the parking lot, and it reminded me of this story. The pool is a co-op pool, which means it's basically a private pool, not public. There is 3 schools by this pool: elementary, middle, and high school. The middle school hosts the soccer games on their back field, which is next door to the pool. Across the street is a high school and a huge parking lot. Parking is scarce on the street, so it's hard to find a place to park. Now that story is set, let's get into the reason that I'm here. I'm parking in the pool lot, which holds 12 spots. Not a problem for off-season. And in comes a huge SUV, parks, takes up 2 spots. I'm thinking, I don't know this car, but hey, might be a new parent. I'll just tell them that they need to move to 1 spot. Now, remember, this is off-season, so the only equipment these kids need is a bag with a suit towel and goggles. Dad goes back to the tail of the SUV and unloads a wagon, ice chest, and 2 chairs, starts to head off to the soccer field. So I say, you can't park here unless you are using the pool. Dad says, I was told I could park here, so F off. This is private property. You will be towed if you leave your car. Points to tow signs. You cannot tell me I cannot park on public property. This is not public property. Where do you suppose I'm supposed to park? They are supposed to park at the high school. Not my problem, buddy. You need to move, as we are using our lot. Dad decides he's going to push it. He says, I'm calling your bluff, and I'm going to watch my son play. Would you let strangers park in your driveway? I think if you came home, you would have said car removed, am I right? This driveway belongs to the people who own this pool. We will be removing your car. I turn to go inside to call. Dad says, fine, do whatever, but if my car isn't here when I get back, I'm contacting my lawyer. Needless to say, it was my first car ever towed. It was not there as another pool member called while we were talking, and the truck got there rather quickly. I could hear the parents tell him he needed to move his car as well, as it's not that far. No lawyer would ever take that case, I'm sure. Besides, we never heard anything. It was back in 2015. I have friends whose kids play soccer, and apparently he was told by the coach to move his car, other parents, and his son. When he came back and it was gone, I was told he tried to take the door off the pool building. We were closed by then. My friend said he was beyond ticked. Hope you like this. I am a teacher and swim coach, so I have a bunch of entitled parent stories. Edit, thanks for the silver and good. I didn't think this would blow up like this. Yes, I teach, believe it or not, just because I teach doesn't mean I can spell. I am an auto shop teacher. Yes, I am a woman. Yes, I have worked as an auto tech for over 15 years. Yes, this is a real person. And our last story was posted by user InvaderZims, titled, Entitled Mum Thinks She Can Jump Line and Steal Popcorn at a Theater. Hello Reddit, I'm a normal teenager who lives in a normal town in Ohio. So on Christmas Day, me and my sister went to the movie theater to see Spies in Disguise. It is Will Smith, so why not? After purchasing our tickets, we purchase a large popcorn, which comes with a free refill. About halfway through the film, I went back to the concessions in the lobby to get our refill. The line was long, maybe a 10-minute wait. I felt fine with that, not like I'd miss anything. Fast forward about 5 or so minutes, I'm the next in line. There is a large line behind me. Enter entitled mother and her 2 entitled kids, probably about 8 or so years old each. Entitled mother says, "Hello, can we please go in front of you? We're in a hurry for our movie." At this point, she seems pretty nice. Right, but I can't give up my spot, so I politely decline. I've waited here for about 10 minutes to get a refill of popcorn during my movie. I'm probably in a bigger rush than you. But I have 2 children. Can't you see how hungry we are? You're also getting a refill, so you already ate. My children deserve that more than you do. Ma'am, I paid for this popcorn, and I'm getting a refill. That will take a minute. So please go to the end of the line. Also, I'm missing my movie to get this popcorn. While me and entitled mother are arguing, I notice that one of the kids is trying to take my popcorn ball. And I say, "Give that back! This is mine! You can't have it!" "She deserves it more than you. It's Christmas, and you need to give something to someone, so give it to my daughter." "Mommy, he's not giving it to me!" At this point, one of the theatre workers notices the situation, and the entitled mother says, "This kid is trying to steal my daughter's popcorn." What the mum doesn't know is that the worker who noticed was the one who sold me the popcorn, and just plays along. And he goes, "Yeah, okay, kid, give her the popcorn if it's hers." I give her the popcorn bowl since I know theatre worker has a plan. After the lady gets a refill from my bowl, theatre worker calls me up to him. He gives me an entirely new popcorn bowl with the refill tag still attached for free. I walk back to my movie, and on the way I see that entitled kid dropped the popcorn on the ground and is having a tantrum. Entitled mother gives me a glare, I shrug her off and enjoy the movie. Calm as a tramp, Lamau. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. I'm just really pumped. I'm not always going to read stories like this. I know I always get feedback when I do it differently, but I don't care. Anyway, I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having a lovely day. I'm about to go out and have some beers. This was probably posted a few days afterwards. It's Friday right now that I'm recording this, so it's probably going to be like a Monday or something. Hope you guys are having a good day. Tell me what you're up to in the description. Write beer down in the description if you're cool. I don't know. See you guys in the next one and have a good day. Bye.